Déjà vu is a French expression used to describe the feeling of having been somewhere before, like you have already seen the thing you're seeing right now. For the New York Jets, the feeling of déjà vu must be very strong. At midseason last year, the Jets were leading the Eastern Division. At midseason this year, the Jets are again leading their division. But last year at this time, everything went kaput, and the New York Jets lost the title in the second half of the season. This year, the Jets are out to prove that history does not repeat itself. In the battle for the lead in the East, there seemed to be absolutely no way Boston could hang on to the ball. They had 9 turnovers, which made them mad enough to pound dirt. And the vaunted Boston defense was virtually ineffective, as Jet running backs number 32 Emerson Boozer and number 41 Matt Snell consistently broke tackles for extra yardage and points. Boston quarterback Mike Tolliver had a day he'd probably like to forget. He was thrown for losses 7 times for a total of 50 yards. He also threw 5 interceptions. This one to number 62, Al Atkinson, on the Jet 4-yard line. Despite their many miscues, Boston trailed by only 10 at the half. Not satisfied with sporadic imperfection, the Patriots became consistent in the second half. R.C. Gamble dropped a punt, and number 47, Billy Johnson, paid for that mistake. Tolliver began celebrating Halloween a week early as Jet defenders number 46, Bill Baird, and number 24, Johnny Sample, came up with the tricks, and Tolliver dispensed the treats. Although Joe Namath was passing well for the Jets, not one of their 6 touchdowns came through the air. Matt Snell blasted in from the 1. Babe Pirelli, who led the Jets to 4 touchdowns, rolled around in to give New York a 27-0 lead. The Patriots changed quarterbacks. Number 14, Tom Sherman, replaced Tolliver, but stuck with the same strategy. Give the ball away and let the Jet runners tire themselves out. But fullback Billy Joe, number 35, was tireless. Performing like an egg beater going through whipped cream, he scored 18 points to tie a club record.
Late in the fourth quarter, the Patriots finally got on the board. Twice. Sherman's pass to Bob Scarpetto accounted for 1 touchdown, and an 87-yard pass, the longest scoring pass in Boston's history, to Jim Whalen, made the final score 48-14. The question of who is best in the East has been answered. There is only one question left. Why is this man smiling?
Quarterback Don Truel, old but all of a sudden new. Finished, they said. But now he seems to have just begun. The Houston Oilers got rid of him, then brought him back as a holder on field goals. For the past 2 weeks, Don Truel's proven he can do more than hold a ball. He can move it.
Don Truel replaced the injured Pete Beathard in Buffalo and showed that a reserve quarterback can outshine a regular if given the opportunity. The 27-year-old signal caller put his 5 years of experience to work as he threw for 2 touchdowns and led his team to a solid victory over the Buffalo Bills. The Oiler defense was just as impressive as they held the Bills to 50 yards rushing. Plays like this were responsible for limiting a potentially explosive Buffalo offense to a meager 113 yards total offense. In spite of this, it was a close contest in the first half. Houston scored as soon as it got the ball as Woody Campbell pulled over from the 2 to make it 7-0. Buffalo tried to come back, but missed by inches. Rookie Avon Moses could have tied it up with this catch, but his fingers didn't want to. Then Bruce Alford hit the crossbar with a 45-yard field goal. All the luck was on Houston's side as Wayne Walker's 39-yarder slid over the bar to make it 10-0. But with 1:07 left in the half, number 18, Kay Stevenson, making his first start since high school, connected with Monty Ledbetter, an ex-Oiler, on a 36-yard pass to make it 10-7 at the half. The next 2 periods belonged completely to Houston as Don Truel began to move. This 60-yard bomb to number 89, Alvin Reed, set up Wayne Walker's second field goal, which made it 13-7 Houston. Truel continued to look like anything but a reserve quarterback as he found Woody Campbell for a 40-yard gain. This great one-handed grab set up number 10's first touchdown pass. He dropped back and found Alvin Reed waiting at the goal line. The score made it 27 at the end of the third period. Buffalo continued to sputter as Truel again spotted Reed. He hit him with a 47-yard strike, and big number 89 put a fantastic move on John Pitts. The touchdown made it 27-7. Walker kicked his third field goal of the day soon after, and Houston ended up on top 30-7. This victory keeps the Oilers alive in the Eastern Division race and makes life a little more difficult for a Buffalo cheerleader.
Having lost 2 games in a row, the Oakland Raiders were not about to be polite and let their visiting guest, the Cincinnati Bengals, make it 3 straight.
The Oakland defense made one mistake all afternoon. Paul Robinson, number 18, caught Kent McLuhan off guard and covered 87 yards for the Bengals' only touchdown. From then on, the Bengals paid the price of facing the Raiders after they had lost twice in a row. And the way the Oakland defense was playing, it was doubtful that any group of mortals could have fared any better. The Bengals tried every conceivable type of play to catch the Raiders napping, but it became a matter of whose turn it was to go to the Raider woodshed. Leading Oakland's return to defensive form was Gentle Ben, Davidson that is, who nearly took Dewey Warren's head off on several occasions. Through their first season, the Bengals' pride has been their defense, and Oakland's stable of running backs can attest to the fact that with Cincinnati, an unassisted tackle means getting hit by 3 at a time. The Bengals pounced on 2 Raider fumbles. This recovery by Bill Kendrick set up a Cincinnati field goal. But the Raiders were able to run a total of 80 offensive plays. And given that opportunity, quarterback Darryl LaMonica could afford to experiment a little. One of the more successful of these was rookie Charlie Smith, who, playing before his hometown fans, responded by gaining a total of 70 yards and 8 carries. LaMonica completed 17 of 31 passes, 5 of them to split-end Warren Wells, who gained 118 yards, more than the other 5 Oakland receivers combined. After LaMonica had softened the Bengals secondary with passes, he turned Pete Banaszak loose for sizable gain. Oddly enough, Oakland's first touchdown was set up by punter Mike Eischeid, who fumbled the snap and promptly ran 17 yards for the first down. LaMonica then passed to Warren Wells, who is rapidly becoming one of the best wide receivers around. LaMonica found Biletnikoff for the touchdown, and Oakland was off to an impressive 31-10 triumph over Cincinnati.
Marlin the Magician, they called him at Omaha. The Miami Dolphins had the best seats in the house in Denver to watch his prestidigitation.
There he is, the Magician, number 15, Marlin Briscoe, seated in the wings, you might say, during the entire first half. Denver's starting quarterback, number 13, Steve Tinsey, was in trouble. Every time he got the Broncos inside Dolphin territory, strange things happened, and Miami would get the ball. Still, it was a scoreless game. With only 1 minute to play in the first half, Miami's quarterback Bob Greasy decided to end the horsing around and score. The last-minute drill started on the Dolphins' 26, and within 23 seconds, it was inside Denver's 20. The third play of the drive took the Dolphins to the 5. In only 4 plays and exactly 45 seconds, Miami scored on this Greasy to Carl Noonan pass, and the Dolphins led 7-0 at halftime, which is all quite reasonable. But, ha-ha, the Magician still waited. The Broncos fumbled the opening kickoff in the second half, and Miami's number 39, Larry Zonka, taught them not to make such blunders. The Dolphins led 14-0. Then came Briscoe. Marlin was a rookie in professional football, but not in aerial prestidigitation. The magician led the Broncos to the Miami 12 and then showed what must be the best running style of any pro quarterback. Almost magically, Denver only trailed 14-7. On the ensuing kickoff, well, what? Denver again had the ball, but this time, the by now enchanted Broncos taught the Dolphins not to make such blunders. From the 1, number 44, Floyd Little, cracked through, and the score was, well, tied, 14 all. Came the fourth quarter, and on came more of Marlin's magic. One touchdown would win the game, but how would he do it? Mere mortal passing took the Broncos to the Dolphins' 10-yard line with only 2 minutes left in the game. Did Marlin call this next play because a voice from the other world told him to? Or did he simply see the defense wide open? We'll never know. But this the Miami Dolphins know. They lost to Marlin's magic, 21-14. Since Denver is already the mile-high city, how high will Briscoe levitate them? Last weekend, the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Oakland Raiders in a monumental struggle. Now they face the San Diego Chargers for the Western Division lead. Huge men dominate both teams, but in this contest, several men showed why they believe pro football is a small man's game. Dick Post, number 22, is only 5'9", but he's San Diego's leading rusher and last season was voted the AFL's Offensive Rookie of the Year. Another Charger who overwhelmed the big boys weighs only 177 pounds. He's Lance Alworth, and against the Chiefs he gained 169 yards on just 6 receptions. Kansas City, of course, possesses one of the most famous small men to play the game, Mike Garrett, number 21. Last year, he gained over 1,000 yards rushing, and on Sunday, the former Heisman Trophy winner gained almost 100 receiving and another 100 on the ground. With Garrett, Post, and Alworth leading the way, the stage was set for the great battle. The only outside factor to consider was a 30-mile-an-hour wind that raged throughout the game. The Chiefs' game wasn't affected by the wind, however, since they relied on running and on short passes to Garrett, like this one, that set up Kansas City's first score. The hometown roar became even louder when Robert Holmes demonstrated the devastating art of stiff-arming and scored his 6th touchdown of the year. In the last play of the first quarter, quarterback John Hadle defied the wind and passed 51 yards to Alworth. Now San Diego was on track. And with this strike to Gary Garrison, the game was deadlocked again. For 2 quarters, the two powers matched muscle and matched points. Then San Diego began to sustain a serious scoring drive. Post led the ground attack, and Hadel threw with abandon. But then trouble struck the Chargers in the form of the best pass defense in the league. A deflected pass was picked off by Jim Lynch, who returned it 50 yards. In itself, this play didn't hurt San Diego, but unfortunately for them, it established an unwelcome trend. When the Chargers were about to score, the Chiefs would intercept and end the threat. Number 42, Johnny Robinson, got 2 interceptions himself. Despite having 3 passes intercepted in 3 quarters, San Diego was only down by 4 points, and Hadel was still throwing and Allworth still catching. As the 4th quarter began, the Chargers fought to take the lead. Russ Smith carried to the 5-yard line, where Hadel took to the air again and found his tight end, Willie Frazier, all alone for the go-ahead touchdown. Kansas City now trailed 17-20, and the pressure was mounting. The Chiefs were leading the Western Division going into this game, but a loss here would give San Diego the lead. As time was running out, they moved steadily downfield. Quarterback Lynn Dawson faked the run and threw one of his rare passes, complete to Frank Pitts at the Charger 25-yard line. From there, Mike Garrett carried left, and with a tremendous blocking effort by number 84, Fred Urbanus, blasted into the end zone. Kansas City had regained the lead, and now it was all up to the Chargers, or rather, to the Kansas City defense. A field goal gave the Chiefs a 7-point lead as Allworth and company started upfield. With a golden opportunity to tie the game with less than 2 minutes remaining, Hadel's jinx reappeared. Kansas City's Jim Kearney got between Frazier and the ball, and that was it. John Hadel threw for 297 yards in the game, but it was his 4 erring throws that told the real story, as Kansas City remained chief of the Western Division, for this week anyway.
Midway through the season, and the East is a clear leader in the Jets. But in the West, 3 contenders are so close that the first-place Chiefs are only 1 game ahead of the Chargers. Although there is still half a season to go, this week's matchup of the Chiefs against the Raiders in Oakland could be the gateway to the Western Championship. I'm Charlie Jones.